Well, hello YouTube. I think some of you have been waiting for this video for a couple of years, I think. But to be honest, I kind of lost interest with this. An interest in the helicopter hobby at some point. It just became dull. And then there was this reason that I had to move and change job and everything like that. Well, you know how life goes. You just can't have it all the time. But here we are, back at the radio-controlled turbo again. I'm going to disassemble some of it to you so you can see what's in it and how it works. Well, most of you should know how it works. There's the turbine. Exhaust goes in here and turns the turbine. And the turbine turns the compressor, like so. Sucks air in and blows it out here. But anyway, to further ado, let's take it apart. It's not the most easiest designs to disassemble. I didn't have that in mind when I first made this one. So it's a bit hard to get to the screws. Actually, it's more than hard sometimes. First one out. Second one coming out. Sorry if my hands get in the way. It's kind of hard to do this. I try to keep it in the frame. I'm not so used to this videoing stuff. Now it should loosen up so we can get to the last bolt. The Allen bolts are 2 millimeters, so they're not too big. And when assembling, it's easy to cross thread them like so. And then the compressor housing should come apart. Yeah, there it goes. So there's the compressor. Nothing much to it. Just a simple impeller. And here's the housing. I machined a groove into it where the compressor pushes the air and then it's pushed out from the volute from here. Welded the pipe end there because it was easier to just weld it and machine the whole piece from solid block. That would have been too much work. And the radius, I have no recollection what's the radius on that one. But I know this, the compressor for the engine size, it's too big. It kind of works at full throttle. You can get some power out of this turbo, but not much. You can substitute something like 10 to 15% nitro methane with this one, so I don't have to use nitro at all when flying the helicopter. It's just mix of methanol and oil and some acetone to give it more quicker flame front, but that's it. Nothing more to it. Well, as you can see, it's pretty simple piece. Had a little scuff there. I think that must came from a crash. It wasn't like this at first, but sometime it developed that scuff in there. Well, that's the housing, and here's the impeller. It's machined from 7075 T6, I think. Can't remember. It's been like 10 years or something when I made this. Oh god, could it be that long? Maybe it can. But yeah, the reason why I'm taking it apart is it has some end play. The bearings are shot. And I need to open it up so I can see the bearing size. I don't remember it. It's been too long. But yeah, we can take some measurements. It's very hard to measure it. It's like 20 millimeter on the inducer, and the exducer is way too big. It's 30 millimeters. And the blade height. The blade height is something like 5 mil. That's too high. But yeah, it works for its intended purpose. To have fun, give it a sound and some more power for the helicopter. As you can see I have sleeved this exhaust housing because the exhaust exducer was way too big. It didn't make any power, so I had to sleeve that one to get more power from the turbine wheel. Turbine, just as the compressor wheel, it's made of aluminium because on RC engines the exhaust gas isn't so hot. It doesn't melt the aluminium. It works just fine, and it's lightweight, so it'll spool quick. So let's try and take it apart, because I have no idea if these screws are seized or not. Nope, that one came off. And that one came off. So did that one. And the last one, yeah, we got them loose. They're a little stiff, but not much. Some burnt oil residue in there, or some just oil gunk in there because it's been sitting so long. There are regular ball bearings inside the turbo, that one I can remember. But now I'm thinking about going to ceramic ball bearings, because the oiling comes from the exhaust waste oil, and I'm afraid the compressor side bearing is shot because it hadn't had any lubricant entire time it's been run. Yeah, there you go. That's all the screws, and we take apart the housing. It's still pretty oily. You can put down the case. Here you can see the exducer. There's the radius. Oh my, why have I left that kind of step in there? That's not good for flow. Pretty interesting. Well, but it's just a toy turbo, so I don't mind. I think I could make a better housings for this, for the compressor and the turbine. Maybe I will, because I'm pretty sure I can get this to work better than it did. But yeah, there's the sleeve. I opened up the case for the sleeve so I can make a smaller exducer for the turbine. It's held by set screws, 3 of them, and I think there's Loctite in between that. I don't know, can't remember. Yeah, that's the housing. Nothing special. Just like a turbo housing, but smaller. Let's put it aside. And here's the turbine. Nothing special. Just machined from aluminium. turbine sizing is better than it was. It was much bigger and it didn't make anything but noise. But it still did spin and it didn't lose any power, so that was a win on the testing, because if you're making the same horsepower, that means it's not robbing energy. And then it's making some flow. Not necessarily boost, but still flow. And more flow is more air to the engine and is more power. The way that this works on two-stroke engine, there's back pressure from this turbine wheel, and this turbine wheel is after the expansion chamber, and the expansion chamber pulses. When they arrive to the expansion chamber, they are going near the speed of sound, and when they exit they tend to reconfigure into flow, and it's the extra flow that turns this turbine. But at the same time, this makes the expansion chamber's stinger seem smaller than it is, so that in itself makes more back pressure in which to make boost into. It's the back pressure that gives you your boost reference. You're stuffing air into the engine when there's intake and exhaust ports open at the same time, and it's the back pressure what against you're pushing the air, and that gives you positive pressure in the crankcase when the exhaust port closes. And there's your boost pressure. Yeah, it's not very efficient, but it works. And there are naysayers that say, nah, you cannot turbocharge two-stroke engine. Well, you can. It's been done for centuries. They just don't know it, how it works, so they say it's not possible to do it. But yeah, here's the turbo. If you have some questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I do apologize for this video taking so long to make, but I honestly gave up on the whole helicopter hobby, but now it's starting to interest me once more, so I decided that when I saw this on the shelf that I'll make a video and make the improvements on this. And to the overhaul, I need to take apart the whole chopper and the engine, because all the bearings are shot, I think, because it's been sitting so long. The engine is probably seized. I have another engine for it. But yeah, that's it for now. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe, like it if you will. If you don't, I don't mind. I just make these videos for my own amusement, and if somebody finds them interesting, then fine, it's nice for me. But yeah, have a nice day, and this was it for today. Bye.